Welcome to the Horror Unmasked podcast,
where we unmask the monsters
and explore the lore.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Lily.
And for some fucking reason, she thought that she wanted to enter this conversation with a country accent.
Yeah, because why not?
This is our session 6. We're just going to be kind of chill. It is definitely probably not going to be a very long episode.
Not at all.
We're just kind of hashing out and talking about our old spooky experiences. Mm-hmm. Probably some of our like previous Halloween shit that we've encountered just on Halloween days and all that stuff.
Oh, we could talk about, our little Halloween costumes that we've done together.
Yeah.
We're so
some
cute.
Fun shit. Just something simple, something easy, not a lot of research or anything done.
Just sharing a little bit of our lives with you guys.
Hell yeah.
I think, after 20-some episodes, we should be able to just chit and chat.
Yeah, just shoot the shit, as some would say.
Yeah.
So, obviously, as a pretty decent chunk of a preface, we're highly spiritual people. We've mentioned it before.
Correct.
My mom is actually a medium and channeler and all that kind of stuff. Very deep into the spiritual realm.
For sure.
She's been certified on all sorts of stuff. Shit, she's even a fucking ordained minister. Which is wild. Suffice it to say, there's lots of spooky encounters. In just life.
Yeah. Do you want to start off? I feel like I might not know all of the spooky encounters that you've had, actually.
I mean, it's kind of weird because... So I've got weird shit that I remember my mom telling me about that I think I mentioned in like a previous episode at some point. But also like general weird stuff that clearly like as a kid I had a good connection with the spirit world and everything.
Yeah.
Because... So, when I was a kid, very little, like I don't even remember this, my mom she told me stories about the fact that, like, when I was a little girl, I mentioned in a previous episode that past lives and stuff like that are, we believe in them, we believe that they're...
Oh, I believe hardcore.
Very effective and definitely are more mentally... You're more aware of them as you're a child, as you are more open to the spirit world as a child. And then slowly, as you get older, you do close it off, but it is never gone.
Did I talk about that? I don't know if I talked about this with you. It was like, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, what?
But it was like, there are examples of this all over the place, but there was specifically a kid who said he was murdered.
Yes.
And,
he was able to, like, find
his body. And the guy, he said he remembered the man who killed him. And the guy who he said
fucking confessed because
it was true. Like, he had killed a man, and that boy, like, was reincarnated as him, basically.
Yeah, there was also, like, kids. There's been stories of children who have been terrified. Like, I remember there was one that was terrified of elevators because they were like, I died in an elevator.
That's crazy.
People who have literally had children who are like, I was in the war, I did these things, I had a wife, or I had a husband, and they are still fucking alive, and they go see them, and it's like this weird, tearful, like, kind of reunion of two people who like know each other to some. It's wild.
Also, like, you have a kid, that kid could talk about how they were like your grandparent.
Yes.
And like, oh yeah, and they speak to you like you are
their grandkid,
like their grandchild or their child.
They refer to you as things or like stuff.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, that's me.
Yep.
Like pointing at pictures of their grandparents or something like that.
And obviously parents, when they experience those kinds of things, they're like, oh, well, what did you call me? Or what did you what? And then they hear like a name that there's no way your kid would know.
Yeah.
Because that person is no longer alive. It's always fascinating how that kind of stuff works. So, like I said, I mentioned in a previous episode that when I was a little girl, my mom used to say that I would always go to like the hairstyling stuff for black girls and things like that. And I would tell her about like going fishing with my grandpa. And I would talk about, and I do not like fishing. And I would talk about that. I was like, honestly, I think it was probably somewhere in New York or Jersey, something like that. Only because it was a cityscape, is that my mom says she remembers me telling her, is that it was like I lived in this like big building that had like a central court kind of between the buildings, and I was on a swinging, and I heard a noise and died, and it was a gunshot.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've actually seen pictures of myself, which is wild.
What?
Yeah. I had 2 kind of like short little pigtaily kind of bits. And yeah. There's some crazy shit, but you know, it's also situations like when we lived at my childhood home, when she was initially painting our door red and everything.
Yeah.
I, thinking my dad's car at the time needed decoration on it, decided to take white paint to his black car.
Oh no.
And paint a scene.
A scene?
A scene on the back.
What did you paint?
I think it was supposed to be like a beach or something, because I know I painted birds of some kind. And my mom says that she remembers me coming to her. I can't remember the specific words, but it was like, I got to come back to Mama Hearn or something like that. And it was like very specifically something that Grandpa would have said or said to me, or it was definitely like uncharacteristic. And so we realized that it was probably my grandfather who said it.
Oh.
Who was like, hey, go to your mom and all that. So that was pretty interesting. And there's definitely been like, so a classic concept of like ghosts and spooky shit is that they interact with technology and like mess with electrical shit. It's a very common concept in spirit world and all that kind of stuff. So it's wild because in our house, we would always have situations where like our lights would, specifically our ceiling fan would just like go off and go on. We'd be talking about things and it's almost like they were agreeing or disagreeing.
Like they were like answering the conversation.
Exactly.
Putting their little
2 cents in there.
Yeah.
But we've also had I've had to build up like immunities to the spooky stuff, because obviously as a kid, spooky shadow shit is scary. And I've definitely had to like call my mom into my room when I was a kid to cleanse my closet, and like learning that, you know, all I have to do is like, I have to tell them like, you are not allowed to be here. I am resting. You cannot, only positive light and love can be in these spaces.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to be here and disturb me. So you need to leave.
Yeah. Being
very, you know, forthright and very confident in, hey, you can't be here. This isn't where you're supposed to be. This is the wrong time to be here. And stuff like that. Like I even remember, God, it was kind of scary because I remember getting up and going to the bathroom. Like, you know, when it's not day yet, but there's like that just kind of light, like first thing in the morning. Yeah. Like it's not like the sun's crested over quite yet, but it's like that very dull.
It's like underneath, but there's the glow from it.
It's that very like gray lighting. I was going to the bathroom and I remember, because in my old house, it was 2 stories and it was so up the stairs. And this was when I was in the bigger bedroom and there were the 2 on the other side. Yeah. The one that was to,
you were on the right. You were on the right.
I was in the big bedroom on the right. And then there were the 2 other bedrooms that my brother and his wife were using. And I was coming out of the room and going into the bathroom, and the one, essentially like their living room, computer room and everything, that door was open and I saw a figure standing in the doorway
of
that room.
Wait, which one?
So when you come up the stairs, it would be the one that was
the
here.
First bedroom,
not the one that was like where you'd walk around the thing where I used to be.
Bedroom.
It'd be the first one that was
so
right
like
there.
That little guest room area.
Yes, that one. So I came out of this room to go into the bathroom. So quick little whoop, and I remember seeing a figure like out of the and it stopped me. Like I got into the bathroom and then I was like,
Did you like back up and like look again?
And there wasn't anything there. But it was kind of like imagine like if an old lady was standing in a doorway.
Yeah.
Like that, but just pure shadow.
Yeah.
And, you know, we figured when I told my mom about it, both me and my mom had thumbprint size bruises on our arms.
What?
Yeah. Like a single thumbprint.
No, that's kind of scary.
On our forearms. It was very creepy. And we figured that it might have been my brother's wife's grandmother that visited, because I guess she liked
Does she
to
not
hang
like
around
you guys
a lot.
or something?
I don't know
Giving you
if
bruises.
It just was like weird timing that I saw that and then that happened. But yeah, and then God, I've got a lot of weird shit that's well, that makes sense that I've had a lot of weird shit that happens around me. I remember leaving my house to go to school one day in high school and seeing a dude, some guy, not a shirt on, running from the house. Like, so I was in the car and the front of the house was here, and it was like he ran past while I was sitting in the car, which was wild because I was like, this has literally just been land. Like, this was literally, we were one of the first groupings of houses that were officially developed on this land.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck that meant.
It could have been, you know,
something from before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
because who knows what's under that dirt?
Yeah.
Years and years of history.
And you know what's even crazier? So I remember driving to the high school, and because it's the like driving towards like the front, because I was not a bus kid. I did not like the bus, so I was I get driven.
Oh,
to school.
I never took the bus a day in my
I
life.
fucking hated that shit. So my mom would drop me off, and we were in like that drop off lane right before, because you know how usually like the drop off lane and then the bus lane are kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And then there's like that gate that leads to wherever the buses and shit go. Well, we were stopped and it was like dark outside except for the general lights of like other stuff. And just this really tall, pitch black, lanky figure just carouses past
Absolutely
the front
not.
of our car.
I'm sorry, you guys can't see her right now, but the arm movements she just did were terrifying.
Imagine-
If I ever saw that.
Imagine like a Slender Man kind of lanky, tall figure.
No.
Pure black, no definition. Just like walked in front of your car.
No. I don't want to. I never want to, because I literally have to leave in a little bit and it's dark out there, man.
That's what happened to me.
No. Now you are walking me all
your
the way
car.
to my car
Yeah, I will
until
walk
the
you to your
door is
car.
shut and I'm out of the yard.
Yes. I will be there.
Thank you. Because no.
I mean, shit. I mean, fuck. Even you, when you were a little kid, you scared the shit out of me.
I
once.
wanted you to talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank God.
Oh, yeah. I was going to talk about this.
Okay, go ahead.
You were just a little girl, and my mom and I were spending the night over at y'all's house.
Yes.
It was just my mom and I because my dad had to work. And
Yeah.
so you were being
I was
laid
really
down
little.
to sleep. Yeah,
I
you were
was
little.
like,
You weren't too young, but
I
you
was
were
probably
like
8 or something like that.
yeah,
I was-
between like 7, 8 range.
Mm-hmm.
And you were, we had put you down to sleep. You went to go to bed like a while ago, and I forgot that I had my stuff in your room.
Yeah.
And this is when you had that fucking the big ass post.
Hey, you're not
your
about to out
Jacob
me.
figure, your cutout Jacob that you had in your room.
Okay, look, I'm embarrassed.
I had a full length poster of Edward, so trust me, we're in the same boat.
But I have matured and I've realized that Jacob's a little bitch. That's growing up. That's what it is.
Fuck.
You know what?
And Edward is toxic as fuck.
Edward is so toxic. Like, both of them are just so bad. But it doesn't matter. I'm gonna own it. I was a Jacob stan.
Yeah, you had a full life
size cutout of him,
him.
and like 4 more posters around my room.
So funny.
So me at 8 fucking years old.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I was like, oh shit, I forgot my stuff in her room. I'm gonna grab it because we were in the room right next to you. Before your mom turned it into her like studio
Yeah, it
space.
used to be like a guest room /
like workroom stuff. Yeah.
But now it's just pure art chaos.
Yeah. So I went into your room because you usually like you always wanted to keep the door like cracked open.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I go into your room and I go to grab my shit, and then as I'm getting ready to leave, I hear movement, and I look over in your direction, and you're like half leaning up in the bed, and in the creepiest demonic-y sounding voice ever, you say some shit. I don't know what the fuck you said.
I know what I said.
At all.
I do know what I said.
I was like, what the fuck? And I was just like, I think I literally was just like, go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. I had no fucking clue what you said, but I was like, you were just like hoarse and horrific sounding. And I know that like now you actually were like, leave the door cracked open.
Yeah, I remember that whole situation happening. I remember you walking in, because I think at this point I also still had my bird sound thing.
Yes, you did.
I remember you walking in. I remember you like passing that, like grabbing your stuff from the corner and then leaving. And I was like, at this point, I hated the door being closed. I could not stand it.
And kind of just as an instinct,
so I just
reiterated it.
I was just like, hey, don't close the door.
Yeah.
But I guess I just...
You were half asleep saying it.
Yeah.
So words were not fully formed.
But what I think is so funny is how scared you were the rest of the night.
I deadass almost convinced my mom to drive us home that night.
Yeah. She thought I
was so fucking
possessed.
Uncomfortable. Like, imagine your skin crawling.
I mean, it makes sense.
For the rest of the time.
You're in the dark, and all of a sudden, your cousin, who's supposed to be asleep, kind of like mummies herself out of bed and like mumbles something you think is in a whole other language, and then lays
in like
back
a deep
down
ass voice
for an 8-year-old. And then goes back to sleep.
And then just fucking lays back down, and you're just like, I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know what you said. I want to leave now.
And what I love is that when we weren't on the best of terms, I just kind of let you think that I was possessed until I was old enough to like be like, nah, I was fully aware of that whole conversation. Preface, we didn't always like each other.
Well, yeah, it was like...
We loved each other.
It was like...
But it's
the sibling. It was like a sibling thing. It was almost,
there's 7 years in between us. So obviously you're going to get some tensions as children.
Yeah. Which is classic.
Yeah, I'm sure you get it if you have,
younger siblings, cousins. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're stronger than ever, baby.
Yee. But yeah,
we've been friendlier longer now than ever were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You hit middle school and things leveled
things
out.
Changed, yeah. For sure.
But yeah.
But I love that story so much.
Yeah, and I mean, fuck. There's so much spooky shit in my life.
Yeah.
It's wild. I've scared my friends before, unintentionally, just talking about spooky shit. I literally caused one of my friends, because of us talking about spooky shit, she was like fucking rocking in the corner because of how scared she was. And I was like, God damn, girl, you need to chill the fuck out, please.
I remember you coming to my little sleepover that I had.
Oh, yeah, and scaring all of your friends to death.
You scared the out of them.
Oh, yeah, I did.
You scared me. Like, I couldn't close my eyes without thinking, like, having a vision of something, of, like, Bloody Mary or whatever it was.
Spooky-ass stories, man.
Yeah. You're pretty good at telling those. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's... See, the worst things that I still have happen to me that make me uncomfortable are... Have you ever been laying in your bed?
Yeah, all the time.
With your eyes closed.
Yeah, when I sleep.
In the dark.
Yeah, at night.
And you just feel like there's a face
right
here.
No, I don't. No,
like
I don't.
inches from your face.
That might happen to you because your ancestors might be a little weird and like to get that
happens
close
to me a lot.
Not me. No.
And it just makes me feel so uncomfortable.
Actually, when I'd feel that now? When Topaz is up in my face and batting at my eyes. telling me to open them.
Yeah, well, but that's pleasant.
No, it's not. She likes to chew on my eyelashes now.
Oh God. That's a no more of that, please.
Sorry, Topaz is my little kitten that I got.
Yeah,
a little over a month ago now.
She is still learning.
She's still learning. She's only like 3 months, so
yeah.
Anyway.
And then it's also like,
but no, that is real creepy.
You know, when you're in bed or you're just sitting, you know, you're in bed, you're doing shit, you're watching shit, and then like you feel the bed like depress.
Nope.
Because something like sat, or you hear like if you have a spring in something, like it bings because it like something moved.
Well, thanks to WD-40.
Oh my God. Super side note, my bed frame used to fucking creak like a motherfucker, and it made me so angry, and I kept wanting to fix it but didn't know how, and then I was like, I'll just WD-40 that motherfucker. And finally my bed doesn't fucking creak anymore.
Really great. Watch.
Yeah.
What
if you heard nothing,
that was good. If you heard something, it was the blinds.
Yeah,
so.
If you heard anything, it was the blinds behind her. But yeah, God.
No, I've never experienced that. You experienced that?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do experience.
Wait, you've never experienced the like, you're like laying in
I'm
bed.
laying in bed
like
and
right
I just
here,
and I feel something get up off my bed.
Or like you're sitting in bed and then just like, you just feel like movement on your bed.
No.
No?
Or like I'm not really paying attention that close. I don't know.
Because it like startles your soul.
Oh no.
Like you jump kind
Not
of.
at
You
all.
like your soul's like, what the fuck? Oh.
Not
It was like, it's noticeable. It's not like it literally actively is like if someone fucking got up off of your bed or sat down on your bed.
No.
Or something jumped up and onto your bed.
Because I don't think the spirits around me get that close.
Well, I mean, like, for me, I think some of it has been like Runner and Hunter.
That's probably true.
Is some of it. Runner and Hunter were my previous cats. They both passed. They were brother and sister. They were both very affectionate. They stayed with me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Runner was like cling wrap to me.
Yeah.
She was my girl, my baby girl. And then when she passed, Hunter became more affectionate, more social, and more cuddly. So that was that.
Yeah.
But
so it definitely could be that.
But yeah, no, it definitely have also felt like people were sitting. It's also like
yeah, no, I haven't.
I'm also one of those people who's like, I've on more than one occasion I have had family come to my door and ask me who I'm talking to, because
But don't you like talk to yourself?
Yeah, so much so that it sounds like I'm talking to other people.
Maybe other people are like answering and you can't hear them, but other people can.
Oh, I can.
Oh, what?
Oh, I can hear.
Hello?
Yeah, so
you're clairaudient?
Yeah, I'm clairaudient. I have I can see things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's usually peripheries and like out of the side. But I am hardcore clairaudient. The best way I've described it before is that my brain, and I don't know if this is like something I need to get a combination of like medically checked out by a psychologist.
Possible.
Or something else. But I've always referred to my brain as like imagine like several different fonts in different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one font that's like me, and then there's all the other ones, and it's like I just respond to the other ones out loud. Is kind of what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this like red might say something, and then I'm like, nah, what the fuck are you talking about? Like actually, and then blue reminds me I gotta get some shit done. I'm like, fuck, later. Like full on conversations with whatever the fuck. I mean, I know that I've definitely in passing conversations and stuff, and
yeah,
because also it's I feel like some of them are probably like spirit guide related.
Probably.
Because I definitely have my main group of spirit guides that tend to stick around me more than anything. And your spirit guides tend to focus on... So you remember, if you ever remember your invisible friends as a child, usually the ones that are the most active are the real spirit guides. So mine all have weird names because I grew up as a Disney kid and a Marvel kid. My spirit guides are Spider-Man, Tarzan, Casper, and Aladdin.
Aladdin is new to me.
Aladdin is newer because several years ago, I went to an event at some spiritual, like, where they were selling different things and all that kind of stuff. And there was an artist that was there who could draw your spirit guide for you. Like, she could draw it. She could see them and draw them.
That's really cool.
And so I actually have the picture of him. I don't know where he is, but I have like the actual drawing that she did of him.
Where was this?
This might have been Apopka or the Villages, something like that. It's one of those spots. Mm-hmm. Casadega. It might have been Casadega. I can't quite remember specifically. I'd have to ask my mom to confirm that. But it was really cool because my mom also got a drawing of one of hers, which was pretty cool. But yeah, we figured it out who he was because he had a gypsy vibe to him. His past was like he was a gypsy. So
that's really cool.
And he almost looked exactly like Aladdin. Mm-hmm. And so it was understandable that would be kind of what I would refer to him as, mainly because, again, I was a Disney kid. My mom worked for Disney. We loved Marvel, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, yes, is in the suit. I do not get to see his face. I think I've seen his face once without the mask, but all I remember is dark hair, and that's about it. And then Casper, he is a sumo monk style.
Right. It's been so long since we talked about this. I forget.
Yeah. And then Tarzan is he's connected to one of my past lives that I had with my mom because we had a past life where we were, I think it was like Aztec or something like that, where they were doing like the sacrifices to the sun god and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And my mother and I were friends in that time, and we were essentially being taken to be sacrificed.
Oh shit.
And
that's dark.
Yeah, and we broke free.
Well, that's good.
And my mom actually took a arrow to the back and died.
How do you know
to
these
protect
things?
me? My mom. She's done past life regressions and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And so when I guess we kind of figured out through further past life regressions that when I ran after she had been shot, I ran to these people's house for protection, and the only thing that would have protected me is getting married.
Oh, so is this like somebody you married in a past life?
Yeah, in that cool. life. There's affection and there's happiness there, so clearly it was
good.
A good situation.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like just get married for the sake of getting married and I don't actually like you. No, it's,
Yeah, there's kindness and goodness. And probably
like
love.
It probably went from just like not knowing to love at that point. Since they are one of my spirit guides.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's probably somebody you've like had many lives with as well.
Yeah. I've also had a past life where I was a little boy who was guiding an expedition of men who were like archaeologists.
Oh.
Through like a deserty area.
Okay.
Like clearly I was native to the area, and so I was taking them to the place that they were trying to get to.
Yeah.
So so there's a lot of weird fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I would love to do like a past life regression type thing. Like, I would love to dive into that. I know I've been here a very, very long time.
Yep.
My soul is
old AF.
And I can feel it too.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I've always felt it. I don't
know.
My
mom's always called me a star child.
I don't know how much longer my soul's gonna be around. I mean,
I don't know. You never know.
I will never know. But it's really cool to think about how, we can come back, and we have been already, and
and we will
all
be.
of us are connected in some way.
Yeah.
And I there was something we were talking about earlier. It's kind of like diving off topic, but not.
Yeah.
It was basically you were saying how spirits like to mess with electrical stuff and
Yes.
all of that. And I was sitting here and I was like, I wonder what it was like when spirits first like
interacted
with like electricity and technology like that.
Ooh.
But there's also been like, I don't know how much of this is true or not, but I recently watched like this YouTube video of these YouTubers, Sam and Colby. They went to the Conjuring house, and there are these two people, I think Cody and Satori, I think their names are. I don't know if their power is real. I don't know. You know, it can be debunked, but it's all on the internet, so you have no true way of knowing. But basically, they touch each other, and they're able to communicate with spirits.
Yeah.
And basically, like, they've learned a lot about the spirit realm, supposedly, and apparently spirits don't ever stay in, like, one timeline. Like, they could either be here and now, or they could still think that they're back.
Oh, yes, 100%.
In, like, the time period that they lived in.
Yes.
Like, before...
Which makes sense because
lights and things like
it's
that. It's
like ghosts that keep treading the same paths even though the buildings have changed. It's because they're still in the time of the original make of those buildings and homes and stuff.
Yeah, so like it's just interesting. It was interesting to hear them talk about like, because sometimes they could be in the here and now, or sometimes they could just really still feel like they are...
be out of time.
Yeah.
Literally.
So it's just crazy to me that time is like so...
irrelevant in the spirit world.
Yeah. It's just one big old web of...
whatever the fuck.
whatever the fuck. I don't know. Because when you think about death, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
I don't want to...
have a negative response to it.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to do that. Not yet. It's not my time.
Not for a long ass time, motherfuckers.
While I think my soul is old, me am young.
Yep.
I'm not ready yet. Maybe my soul will be when I'm done, but again, I'll never know. Yeah. I just think it's...
because it's also based on, you know, unfortunately... there's a million religions and all of them have their own ideas about what happens after death.
But me personally, I really do think that everything is connected.
Yeah.
We have a choice whether or not we want to stay or just be done. And a lot of us are either new souls or old souls, and we've just been doing this dance with each other for centuries. And it's never truly over, and your loved ones are always watching after you.
Yeah.
And they're all doing all right wherever they are.
Yeah. And that includes your pets and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Because even people like my mom can communicate with past animals and things like that. It's all very fascinating, the general ideas and concepts of ghosty spiritual shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had my fair share of ghostly encounters.
Yeah.
Mainly one in the corner of my room, which I'm sure you're aware of. Corner of my room at home has probably been there forever. Yeah. I don't know, because my family moved in, like, the house was built, moved onto that property, and then we moved in. So there was nothing on there, like, before my family moved in.
Yeah.
I don't think, but obviously history, who knows what.
The land is the land.
The land is land. But there's definitely something in the very corner of my room, like where my door is. And I've had so many encounters, like even my friends have witnessed it. The earliest thing I can remember, it was like sleep paralysis for me.
Ooh.
I got sleep paralysis.
Thank God I've never experienced sleep paralysis, because that's just scary.
It was only that one time I've ever experienced it.
Yeah, because that's scary as fuck.
It wasn't a bad experience, though. Because it was like Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, waking up on my back, and I could barely open my eyes.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak. I just remember looking into the corner of the room and seeing a very tall, like, shadowy figure in my doorway. Because, again, I didn't like my door being closed. So I just remember seeing it there. And that was probably the only time I've ever seen it.
Question.
Answer.
Did it have a top hat?
Bitch, I don't know. I don't remember.
Fuck.
Why?
So, here's a very weird paralysis shadow individual.
Okay.
That does exactly that, stands in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and has a top hat.
Mm-hmm.
And thousands of people see the same man. Same fucking creature.
Yeah, I have no idea. I was really little. Like, it was when my bed was a twin and was still in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, I was
so literally,
young.
you might not have even known what a top hat was. So
I just remember tall, shadowy. I was a child having sleep paralysis and, like, seeing this figure in the doorway.
Yeah.
But I wasn't afraid.
yeah.
I just remember not being able to, like... I felt calm and fine. I just couldn't, like, speak or open my eyes all the way.
Mm-hmm. You
And
couldn't move,
I just went back to sleep.
Yeah.
And woke up and everything was fine.
Yeah.
I think in my child brain, I was like, oh, maybe it's just daddy, like, Christmas, ha ha ha. He's just looking out for me. Gonna put the presents under the tree. No. Now that I'm older, I understand, and I understand the reality of what it was. Because obviously as a child, I didn't know what sleep paralysis was.
Yeah, no.
I didn't think that shadowy figures could stand in doorways.
Yeah.
I don't know. But as time went on, I've had friends come over, and we would, like, the door would be open and we would just be having a conversation, just hanging out in my room. And a few times, like, the door has just closed, like, by itself.
Yep.
Like, the ceiling fan's not on.
Should I even remember that?
There's no wind. The door just closes by itself.
Yep.
Like, in front of us.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe it could be a draft of where the door is. I could not tell you, but the door just would close on its own.
Yeah.
And all my friends would be so freaked out by this. They would be like, nope. And they hated being in my room, like, at night.
Yeah.
They'd prefer to sleep, like, in the living room or something. And then I got a couple other instances. These are the more, like, severe instances.
Yeah. Well, okay. Because your comment just then about, like, your friends experiencing it and shit like that.
Yeah.
Reminded me of a sleepover I went to my friend's house. And it was a shit ton of us all girls into her room. And I remember everyone freaking the fuck out. Someone saw something in the corner.
Ooh.
Over by the door.
No.
Every single girl in that room all saw it. All were screaming.
No way.
And freaking the fuck out.
Oh my
and
God.
I was in there. And I was the only person who had the courage to get up and go turn the light on I went over.
You would.
And turn the light on.
You would.
And we literally had to get up and leave the room for a while. We ended up sleeping, I think, out in the living room.
What did they describe it as?
Unfortunately, I think it probably was a man with a top hat.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it...
Because he was standing over by the light switch.
No, thank you. I refuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone to see it like that.
And everyone was screaming. So.
It had to be horrifying then.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. But that's how I felt when I experienced these next two things. So, we have a dog at my house. And when we first got this dog, it was my dog. Her name is Chewy. She's a little teacup Yorkie. Not really a dog. But at that time, like, she was mine. Like, she stayed in my room, and, you know, I took care of her. And now she's my Nana's dog. Like, has nothing to do with me. That's okay. But when she was staying in my room, it was really, really late at night. And I'd say, I honestly think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
like
the
at
witching
3,
hour.
witching hour. And Chewy just wakes up, and I'm like kind of like on my back, but also not.
Yeah.
And she like comes down from my head where she was sleeping, stands on my chest, digs her claws into my chest, and starts barking like crazy for 20 minutes at the door. Like, would not stop. I, like, picked her up. I tried to, like, calm her down. She would not stop barking.
That's wild.
Like, animals don't like to be in my room. Like, my cats have never liked sleeping in my room. Like, Chewy didn't really like being in my room. Is not my dog really
and barking
anymore.
at the
Like,
door?
and barking at the door like crazy. Like, I just think there's something in there that just, like, animals pick up.
Yeah.
Hardcore because they don't like it. And then I, like, tried to tell my family about it because I was, like, trying to calm her down because I for sure thought it would wake them up.
Yeah, that's a dog barking.
None
Your
of them
parents'
heard
room
it.
was right, like, that's crazy.
None of them heard it. I have no idea what was going on. It was really freaky. But the thing that freaked me out the most was right next to my door, I had these, like, bookshelves that my dad had put up that were, like, on the wall.
Yeah.
They were, like, attached to the wall. And the top bookshelf, I never touched because it was at the top.
Yes.
And I can't reach it.
Yes.
I couldn't reach the top bookshelf.
I feel like I remember you telling me something about this.
I never touched it. I never put anything on it. Like, I just kind of left it alone because it's too high for me. And I just leave it. It was, again, the middle of the night, and I was asleep. And all of a sudden, I'm woken up by the top bookshelf collapsing and all of the stuff that was on the shelf falling into that corner of the room.
Yep.
It scared me so bad. Like, I woke up sobbing, and, like, my mom came in to check on me, and, like, it was terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what...
I remember you telling me about this.
I don't know what caused this to happen. I don't know, like, why it would just fall like that. I didn't touch
crazy.
it. I was sleeping. Like, there's nothing that could have messed with it for that to happen. I don't know.
That's some wild shit, man.
It is wild shit. So, yeah. There's been, like, one other instance where, like, I walked out of the room because my family was going on vacation, and, like,
yeah.
my fan was on, and I kept it on because we were going on vacation and I wanted my room to stay cool. I just did. But we were about to leave, and we were all having lunch, like, in the dining room, and all I heard was a giant thud. And I'm like, oh my God, what was that? And I run into my room, and the fan blade.
Yes, I remember this.
The fan blade had hit that corner and fell to the floor.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
And it left a small dent in, like, the wall in the corner of the room. I'm like, what the heck, bro?
Gotta get that fucking room cleansed.
My dad's done some cleansing, has done some stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's a scary little area.
Yeah. Because that used to be your parents' bedroom.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they moved
Yeah.
to the other room.
Mm-hmm. So, whatever it was, probably don't like me. Prefers them instead.
Yeah.
Although it never really fucked with me because obviously that's the room I grew up in.
Yeah.
Like, for how many years of my life?
Yeah.
And I only have those instances to, like, recall upon.
Yeah.
So it had many opportunities to really screw with me, and it only chose a handful. So
Yeah.
I
But
feel...
those handful were spicy enough for you to remember them.
Oh yeah, it's scary. It's
Yeah.
scary. Just some ghostly experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. You good?
Yeah, that's pretty much
I'm good.
most of my encounters that I've had.
Yeah.
Other than, like, some Key West stuff. That Key West experience really freaked me out.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
Because we went on a haunted tour, and, like, there was a theater. Mind you, again.
Oh, yes. I remember
I'm
the theater.
8 years
yeah.
old, and this has stuck with me for 13 years.
That's why I didn't want to touch the glass.
So there was, on the tour, the lady told us about, like, this, and we were standing in front of this old theater building that had burned down, and there were, like, these glass doors, and behind it there was, like, a sheet of paper to, like, block out the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And she told us that it had burned down with people inside,
Yeah.
and they were trying to like escape
And couldn't, yeah.
and couldn't. And if you like put your ear up to it,
Or put your hand up
put
to
your
it.
hand up to it, you could feel and hear like knocking
And banging.
and
like the vibrations of it.
but the paper wasn't moving.
Yeah, the paper wasn't moving.
The paper wasn't moving, but like, and we all thought, you know, oh, haha, it's for the
Until we fucking put our hand on it.
No. It's for the tour. You know,
Yeah.
they probably have like a sound thing, and it'll probably be gone by the time the tour is over.
Yeah.
Our little family decided it would be such a grand idea to go back later
Yeah, we did.
that night just to check it out again. And
Yep.
you could still hear
And still feel.
it.
Yep.
So unless they have that stuff running like
24/7.
24/7,
Which would be a waste.
such a waste. Like, it
Yeah.
is genuinely scary.
Oh, yeah.
And we got so many orbs and caught on camera that night.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Yeah.
Ugh. Scary stuff,
That
man.
was a good tour.
It was a good tour. I miss Key West. I want to go back.
Same.
But yeah, our little spooky family has had some spooky things.
Yeah. Spooky shit, and there'll definitely be more spooky shit to come, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
If we know our lives for anything, it's going to happen.
I'm not inviting anything, though.
Nope.
That is not an invitation.
No. Not an invitation.
Love, light, and happiness. Goodness only. To everyone, to all you guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are a little chitty chat.
Yeah. Our next episode is going to be Violent Night.
Woot woot.
So-
David Harbour.
Be excited about that. That's a good one. You know, help us out. Like, comment, subscribe, ding the bells, and give us hearts and shit.
Yeah.
Send us an email at horrorunmasked@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at horrorunmasked. Listen to us on iTunes and Spotify at Horror Unmasked Podcast. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to Horror Unmasked Podcast. And I think with that,
Well, first, email us with, you know, maybe your spooky stories.
oh shit, yeah. Tell us about spooky shit that's happened to you.
For sure.
100% open to spooky stuff.
I want to start a segment where we can, like,
yeah.
read your stories and
Hear about the spooky
your
stuff
things.
that you've experienced.
Mm-hmm. That would be really fun. Especially if we actually get a follow. When we get a following.
When we get a thicker following.
A thicker following. We have a following. What do you mean?
We have a following.
Our 18 strong subscribers. Woo!
I know.
I love you all.
Some deep listens, so
Yeah.
we're doing pretty good.
I think so. But yeah.
Yeah. I think with that.
One thing left to ask. Will you fear?
Or will you fear not?